Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. I have what I hope is going to be a special treat for you guys today. It's a friendly game with Stribble, also known as Haymaker, and well, I'm playing a deck that I basically never play, and that's USA. Now I am from the US, it is something I am rather happy about because, well, I'm a little bit of a patriot, but in Wargame I really struggle with USA, and it's so thematic. You know, I'm from the US, I should play the US, and yet, oh, it's very tough. So I have an opener here. I am going M1A2, double M1, where you right away have a bit of a miss micro here, but I was just intending to go right up into sort of square, push into golf, and we see this from Stribble. He is playing Commonwealth Moto, which is a little bit unusual, and there's just an absolute ton boring down on me, leading with a Wolverine, which is a little bit goofy, but hey, I mean, I have a Cobra here, it is going to get taken out, get a little bit of a nice stun there, but there's just so much stuff, right? And if you think about it, my only guns for this are the double M1 Abrams, so I'm taking these things out one at a time, and meanwhile, everything of mine is getting shot at. Plus, these, I believe, are Vickers Mark 11s. I do have Small over here, which will be very useful here in a second, as my opponent does try to cut this sort of zone right off the bat, and we do get one pick, and let's see. Ooh, come on. 2 picks right there, that's very nice. But up on the high ground is a ferret, and believe it or not, yeah, an ADAT's just killed my M1A2. Goodness gracious. Okay, so this right away is sort of a disaster. Over on the left-hand side, I've been unable to secure triangle. I was microing things here, and so lost an M2A1 and my recon. My Stinger Cs are not fighting infantry. They cannot handle even a stiff breeze getting blown their way, and I pretty much have failed to secure any forward objectives in the opener, which is a little bit less than ideal. Now, some of this is because of my unfamiliarity with the deck, some of this is because I dramatically mismicroed the M1A2, and some of it, honestly, is a little bit the result of playing against a Moto deck that has very aggressive early pressure. You have to be really careful with things like this. And right here, another little mistake, I should have just pulled the M1A1 back here and shot these Oslovs. If these were loaded, I would be in a lot of trouble here. And instead, I want to get a kill on that ferret, so we're moving forward, but look at this. They're already aiming, they're already on the way, I kill a 10-point truck, and boom, I lose a 65-point tank. So the ferret ADATS combo from Stribble, we played a couple of friendlies, and he's just been pounding me lately with that combo. It's so brutal. I really don't quite know how to handle it, to be honest. So, if we take a look at the broader battlefield, well, I've lost Foxtrots, I don't have a Captain Charlie, I don't have 4 position in Bravo, I have Riflemen in Square who are alone, so everything's hunky-dory, right? Yeah? No? Okay. One thing too, by the way, keep in mind whenever you're playing Moto, oftentimes their map control far exceeds their actual number of units, and we may or may not see that later on here, so there is something that's known jokingly as Moto Collapse Syndrome, where in the late game, you lose all that map control in the span of 5 or 6 minutes because there's just nothing there holding it, and finally that combined arms mechanized push, even if it is off of an unspec deck, does get through just enough to take things out. So double Oslov Tow 2 coming up here, 45 points apiece, but they come with 4 70%, 25 AP missiles each, which is just insane. It's so much firepower. And I'm trying to answer it with a Recon Bradley that I was hoping would be able to move up here and zone some things out. My Cobra has finally, after all of these crits, killed that last Oslov, and my hope is, with some US Marines and Bravo, maybe I can focus on at least not losing that right-hand side, which is a bit of an interesting choice, I'd say, maybe not the one that I should make, considering motorized infantry are very tough, and Commandos 90 are very cost-effective woods fighting infantry, while as US Marines, yeah, they have a mini-me, but at 30 points for 15 strength shock, they're a little bit less cost-effective than they otherwise could be. In fact, a nice sign of this is these Commandos basically killed a unit and a half of my Riflemen while we were just sitting there exchanging fire, and eventually I did lose that unit. Here's another good example of it, Commandos 90 in the open, so you'd think, oh, these guys are going to get shot like crazy, but only one of my Riflemen are engaging, both Commandos are engaging, 54% on that mini-me, and they're both calm, I'm shaken, not stirred. This is going to end up really bad really quickly. In the meantime, M3A2 Bradley moving forward, Cobra moving forward, all this sort of stuff. I'm just trying to regain a little bit of a semblance of a board position here, but at the time, I hadn't noticed both of the Oslov ATGM slingers. So we see him right there, we get a kill, but unfortunately, I can't really afford to trade. So I killed 45 points, I lost 80. That is Well, it's exactly why my opponent brought 2 of those things, I'm pretty sure, because damn, that was just rough. Now, it is a game that goes to time. It is going to be a full scrap, and to be honest, I thought about throwing in the towel right here, and I didn't, in part because so Stribble and I were talking in voice. This was a friendly game, and I highly encourage anyone who's trying out a new deck to find someone they know to play with and get that sort of feedback. So I really got excellent feedback from Stribble after a couple of these games, just things that I maybe wasn't doing as efficiently as I could have been with USA, and you know, that's really valuable advice. Here I'm a colonel. As of yesterday, actually, I did make second Brig Gen, so both Grim Soldier and Sable Chevalier are now Brigadier Generals, and yeah, I know it's a little bit goofy to have them both, but that does mean you guys should see some ranked games with Brigadier General soon, hopefully, unless I lose it right away. But anyway, I have a Thunderbolt, I have a Longbow. I've actually got a really nice collection of picks there on the Thunderbolt, so I don't tend to like this plane. But there, you know, we killed the other Oslov, we killed the Vickers in the open, we got a couple of nice things there. And here's the engagement I was talking about. So Commandos 90 moving down, US Marines moving over to intercept, and then hopefully getting the LVTP online. And this is interesting too. So we this time get the 2-to-1 engagement on the Commandos 90. They were attack move forward, and the other unit is out of position. This is why woods fighting can be so brutal. And then on this side I have LVTPs slamming in, a really cost-effective kill for me. If I can take every woods engagement in Bravo like that, it's going to be nice. If on the other hand I cannot, well, we're going to have some trouble. So Rangers just pushing forward, a little bit overextended, and by a little bit I mean a lot of it overextended, but I figured all he had left was that ferret. And in fact we did just see it, yeah. So this thing basically doesn't have any sort of reasonable anti-infantry capabilities. And I figured we'll just push the Rangers up here, we'll get them into the woods and maybe get a kill there if we can. It's 45 points, it's not nothing. And you can see at this point, yeah, it's not great, but it could be worse. You know, I need to retake square, but if I retake square and I have some semblance of something in Foxtrot, then at least I'm doing alright. The issue is, Stribble is already ticking +2, and I say already, it's been, you know, over 7 minutes in this game, and I haven't had the points to spare for a second command vehicle, and this is a Jeep. I am eternally ashamed. I've shown you guys a replay with a Jeep CV. What is the world coming to? But the reason why is USA gets a 110 point Jeep that actually has 10 strength, so yeah, you don't get the armor that you do on the 120, 125 points vehicles, but I don't know, I wanted to try it out. It's quite fragile, but it is slightly less fragile than it could be, which I don't know if that's a mark in its favor or not. So at this point, I had once again forgotten that this deck seems to rely really heavily on ATGM vehicles for zoning, and really quite effectively at that. So I'm losing some riflemen here in the open for nothing. I got a Hempt coming up to resupply these Abrams, just keep them healthy, keep the US Marines 90 healthy, but my little forward attempt in Foxtrot didn't really work out too well, so that is going to have to be handled another time if I want to get back into this game here. And let's speed things up just a tad as we get into the middle of the game. And the mid game and the late game are where Moto starts to kind of struggle, at least if our opponent is fighting correctly here. So let's see, Lings H7's overextended. We're going to pick up a nice little kill there. Boom, boom. Rangers in the woods here, probably safer to have kept one unit back at least. Now I can spot so much more. Would have been nice to just play a little bit more defensively there, not really lose much. And yeah, I mean, get the resupply. Oh geez, I say that, and then I move the DAP forward because I was banking that he didn't have any more anti-air back here, which, man, risks like this are part of what make aggressive players very, very good, because they punish you for the units that you lack when you lack them. But it's not something I'm used to doing. I don't know if you guys noticed based off of yesterday's video, I prefer to push everywhere gently, which is kind of goofy because I did have a couple of games against somebody named Push Gently the other day, but nice guy, good player. So, yeah, another little overextend here, and this is just the sort of thing where I mentioned before, Moto infantry will win those fights. The reason why, you see these Commandos 90, they're at maximum veterancy. My US Marines 90 are not, and that makes a really big difference. And especially when I'm getting, you know, 2-to-1 like this. It was 2-to-2, then I lost something because it was 3-to-2 over here with the other Commandos 90. Like, it's just overextending a little bit into Moto gets punished so hard, so hard. It's incredible. It's very different. So mech, you get pushed efficiently. Moto, I don't know, like, it's almost like you get pushed efficiently, because damned if this wasn't efficient. But then you also have to worry about, you can't really overextend resistem. At least mech, if you overextend a little bit, they're going to be slow to respond. But with Moto, it's like, well, those infantry were probably YOLO'd out here well after I started moving forward, which is just, it's very different, shall we say. It's very tough to learn how to deal with, especially, you know, if this were a ranked game. So in this particular one, I knew it was coming. I opened like I didn't. But in ranked games, you don't know, right? So sometimes you open just regular opener, then your opponent's playing blue Moto, and you get bum rushed by a bunch of rover wombats and things like that, and Ruakat recon tanks and everything there, and it's really, really rough. Really it is. I think playing against Moto is probably my least favorite thing. Mech, you can sort of take those trades, you can rely on having heavier tanks than they do to get those sorts of kills. By the way, we do pick up one kill there with a Thunderbolt, but this is going to be... It's a study in contrast. On the one hand, the first run, the Thunderbolts was free and clear to work because there wasn't really any adequate anti-air defense there. The second one we got out, but barely, and with a kill that may or may not have really been worthwhile, because it's a 140 point plane. I need to get 1 or 2 or 3 kills sort of as I go through to make it worthwhile, otherwise I need another run, and relying on getting additional runs is not something you should do with planes. It's not very reliable. So here we are pushing back into square, and where I can take these 2-to-1 engagements, US Marines do very well. Here a bit of a mistake, LVTP's too far forward. Yeah, that's kind of rough. But we will be able to just weight of numbers these guys down, and this is sort of what I said earlier, that Moto's not necessarily the best at defending any one point immediately. Right, so my US Marines 90 just went in there, they had a fine time. LVTP now, just sitting back there ready, waiting, and we get reinforcements into Bravo. So at this point I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's still try to sort of pick things off on the flanks where I can, like with this Cobra. It's a nice little value kill right there. But then seeing that ADAT's moving forward, I don't know, this is just, it's a risky position to be in, and I felt the need to alleviate some of that tick that my opponent had. So of course 136 to 1, 27 minutes left. It's not the end of the world by any stretch, but it is going to be a little bit tough, because when I don't have control of these zones, I need to be aggressive to regain control of them, but the time I did that, I overextended, I lost a lot of expensive infantry. Here it's going to be really tough too, because my opponent controls triangle, and pushing into golf when your opponent controls triangle is another exercise in ouch. So at this point we had I don't know, this is sort of the thing that's awkward about USA, I think. I had a good mix of stuff here, and it's just not effective enough to really punish this. The LVTP will get some nice shots in, but then I lose it. And it's not cheap, and the Riflemen, admittedly 10 points, but it's not the cheapest thing ever, and those Gurkhas, they all get out. Right, they got damaged, but they all get out. So I'm going to try something here in Bravo. We're going to bringing up a unit that you don't see all that often, a little bit niche, but I kind of wanted to give it a try. And then the game plan is to eventually secure myself in Bravo, secure myself in Golf, and if I can just take cost-effective trades well enough in the mid-game, then I'm fine. My worry, though, is that if my opponent's dribble here does not feel the need to push me, then there's not all that much that I can do. Right, so if he doesn't feel the need to push in, if he just caps in Golf, caps in Fox, I have to push in against him, and that becomes difficult as well. So losing the Cobra there for free to the SAS that are in the woods, that Ferret was a very nice bait, and now I've undone the good work of clearing it out to begin with. There's a replacement, I've lost the Cobra. Cobra's more expensive anyway. It's just a really tough situation, and I don't think it can be underestimated how different it is. Like, we're all, throughout the game you're microing, and then you're reaching up here for more units and all that, and I can't stress enough the difference that it makes to know the tools that you want to grab. So if I know what I want to bring, and I can bring that very quickly, then I don't spend a lot of time up here instead of down here microwing, moving these units around, getting value out of what I have on the board. If on the other hand I'm sitting there going, what do I need for this? What's the best response for this? Do I bring this? No. And then I grab 2 and I start to place them, and I think better of it, and I right click, they go away, I bring something else out. It's very tough. So we see an Oslov C going for Foxtrot. A little bit interesting to cap Fox before Golf, and I just brought out the M110s. So I thought, okay, well, let's see if we can snipe that. It's a very quick cap here, so I thought maybe it's probably right there. He moves it. Alright, that's probably going down here. That's sort of the thought process. And a lot of people, they'll hide directly in the spot that you just fired on, because what madman fires the same spot twice if he didn't see an explosion? So we're just going to be pelting that whole sort of area here as Golf gets pushed again. And this is something that kind of took me by surprise. I've been pushed in square by Moto decks before, actually by Lord Pie specifically, who's a really crazily good Moto player. And he's the reason that I actually keep M1 Abrams right here, or some sort of tank right here as well. Look at how tough that makes it. So ordinarily people will just rush right down here and get in, but these Canadian rifles are caught out in the open. Smoke might have made a difference for them surviving, but even then it would be a little bit tough because they do have to eventually close. When they do, I have those disposable AT4 launchers, 20 RPM, up there ready to do some good work. And that was just a very neat section of kills. So things like that are what I need. The issue is that one took 5 minutes to come up and gave me like 20 seconds worth of income advantage. Keep in mind, by the way, when you are looking at trading, when you're thinking those things and evaluating if you're ahead or behind, 105 points a minute. So if there's not 105 points worth of losses from your opponent every minute, they are increasing their forces. If they're increasing their forces and you don't see it, that hammer blow can fall somewhere that you will just not expect. And that can be incredibly tough to deal with because, you know, you can spread out your defenses everywhere, here, there, everywhere. If Stribble had been saving up a motorized push to go right through Foxtrot, what do I have here? Double M2A1, double Stinger C, Rangers, and a command vehicle. And yeah, 100%, he could take basically 200 points of motorized stuff and go right through Foxtrot, 2 minutes worth of income. And the amount that it would take me to fortify this, I mean, you could argue an M1 Abrams would really help, but even then it's quite rough. So luckily for me, he does go a little bit of a different way and right into the double stack of M1 Abrams here. There's Gurkhas, there's Canadian rifles, this is all really expensive, and I just did right click there on those Gurkhas. We get the stun, he's coming down here. We have Navy SEALs, that's right, Navy SEALs coming up to take this engagement with Commandos 90, because you know what? Get frag launchered, and it works. Like, it's working for me. We got one kill. We're going to get a second kill. These commandos are not getting out. There's two more behind it. If we can get those, and double C2 Mexus. So there's a lot of stuff going on right here. Navy SEALs still are taking a bit of a pounding, and the C2s, if they'd been with that initial push, this would have been really, really rough right here. But this sort of brick wall, no moto, I say you're not coming to get me, is exactly what the doctor ordered to have a chance back into this game. So Patriot, by the way, gets the stun. F3 is semi-active, so they immediately miss. Thunderbolt coming in. 1 kill on the Mexus, 2 kills on the Mexus, and we have a fight, ladies and gentlemen. We have ourselves a fight. I love that movie. If you haven't seen Warriors, by the way, great movie. Tom Hardy's in it, but I'm not actually sure which character I root for in that one. It's a little bit of a tough decision, but yeah, anyway. Great movie, great engagement right there in Echo, and in Bravo, and I finally thought, you know what? We might have a chance. That engagement was so horrible that on its own, it might have given me a chance, especially if we can follow it up here. So I don't have the M1 Abrams anymore. I can't zone these out, but I still do have the US Marines 90. We still have those disposable launchers with the AT4s, getting a little bit too close there with the Grizzlies and Can rifles, gets 1 kill right off the bat. The other one's here, making sure to target the Bisons first, if I can, and I definitely can. And now all this stuff is caught out in the open against mini-me's that admittedly are having a little bit of trouble, but I still do have the LVTP, and this thing is beautiful when it can actually work. I mean, it's 15 points. It needs to get that Mark 19 grenade launcher online, but when it does, I mean, yeah, even then, still maybe not the best return on investment, but it was exactly what the doctor ordered. Now these US Marines outnumber Highlanders 90. The Highlanders 90 are 20-point regular infantry, not shocks, and this was a little bit stupid, but I just wanted to see if he was as depleted here as I suspected. He was not. There's at least one C2 Mexus right up there on the top. It's going to be really tough for me to push into, but maybe this will discourage something coming back. Thunderbolt going in, hoping for that second kill if I can get it, and missiles on the way. No. A little bit unfortunate. These guys, by the way, are fire and forgets. You don't need to hold line of sight, but it definitely does help to at least know if you're going to hit a little bit better if you can watch the missiles go in. It doesn't make any difference to their accuracy, but it does definitely to the sense of, is this going to work or not? So at this point, the US Marines 90 really showing their worth. Highlanders not able to push in. Should have probably been just walking forward, but it wouldn't have saved them anyway. The issue is if they're caught out in the open, it's not going to be a good engagement for them. And then recently my unload key has been sticking a little bit, so I was clicking on these guys, jamming the R button, going unload, 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 right into the chat. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe I shift clicked it as well. Like, I don't quite know, I don't quite understand, but yeah, not the best. It would have been nicer to have the rifleman already shooting in. There's fresh Gurkhas here. The onslaught is upon us in the Bravo. Stribble wants it really, really badly here, and if I can deny this, it's so good, but if I can't, man, this is going to be really, really rough. Plus, keep in mind, I'm still not ticking, so just as I did get a cap in Fox and Bravo, Foxtrot has been counter-capped. I've been unable to find that, even with 3 M110s. I've been just sort of shelling the whole thing up here to no avail, but more Navy SEALs taking the fight with Gurkhas. Very happy for this. We will probably get a stun on these. They're not going to be able to get away from us all that well. Although I did notice, if you watch right here, these guys are attacked move, and whenever they stop to shoot, they lose line of sight, because we're playing chase in the woods. So right here, I just right-click them. They're not able to use their frag launchers, but they can outrun those panicked Gurkhas. So that worked out pretty well. Thunderbolt, I don't really know what I was thinking here, but maybe I just wanted to make its presence known, prevent more Mexuses from coming up. Not entirely sure right there what I was looking for. And then Command Abrams. And guys, watch this Command Abrams. I swear to you, it'll be worthwhile. This was, with minimal spoilers, this was one of the best command tanks I've ever had in my entire life. Just, oh man, we're gonna be going back to the star of this show today with that Command M1 Abrams, because, you know, I've given the advice of, yeah, CV tanks are not for combat. They're to prevent getting absolutely railed if you do have to fight, but the ideal thing is not to have to fight. And we do have a drawback here as well. The Navy SEALs versus something like a C2 Mexus, not going to be in good engagement. I've lost everything but an M1 up here. The Command Abrams cost me my points. I needed to get more US Marines on the ground. So there is a push coming in. The LVTPs cannot stop it. There's more Commandos 90 right here, apparently just wanting to take the US Marines 90 for all they've got. And yeah, we're going to be opening up. So yeah, I don't quite know why that was the pick there. I get damage reduction and my opponent does not. Plus, I mean, Thunderbolt, yeah, not worthwhile. Not worthwhile there, but I don't know, it might still save the position. So this is the whole thing. Sacrifices like that are objectively bad unless they win you the game. And here I have a cap in Gulf now. These Commandos 90 probably would have, by weight of numbers alone, killed my US Marines here, especially with the Ocelot PCs. And now, because of that last-minute gun run, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. We definitely will see. So this, by the way, manually switching to the AT4. A lot of good reasons for that micro here. And yeah, we'll hold. We will hold in Golf. For right now, we'll hold in Golf. And this was a little bit brain dead as well. I wanted to push into Foxtrot, but I know there's a ferret over here. I know there's probably something else over here, and I thought, okay, I can use the points advantage from those last couple engagements to build something over on this side. So I have double M1 Abrams, I have lots of riflemen, I have an M3A2 Recon Bradley. The idea was push through, take this section of woods, move through, take this section of woods, and deny the flank to my opponent. But, I mean, there's just more pressure. More and more and more and more and more every single second. Double C2 now, finally pushing in. Stormer, more Saxons, 3 Gurkhas behind it. I don't have enough here to hold on, which really hurts, because 13 minutes of +1, I can make that barely a win if I can hold it, and I just don't know if I'll be able to hold it. So all of this stuff, I should have just brought it to the front. I was trying to get a little bit too fancy, I think, and that definitely is something that you have to restrain yourself from doing. So Command Abrams, this one not quite as lucky as the other. Nearly gets a kill on that Mexus, but unfortunately, there we go. We lose Bravo. Golf is temporarily decapped as I'm looking for a kill there with Command Abrams, looking for a Stormer, which is, again, not all that common, and I think the mortars actually got the kill, so first kill denied to this Command Abrams here, but we have a lot more. We have 52 remaining rounds in that main tank gun, and yeah, we're gonna need them, because there's just more. Like, this deck, I told Stribble afterwards, he and I have played before, and you know, we'll win some, lose some, and all that. This deck was the most pressure I think he'd ever put on me in terms of just constant attacking everywhere. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. At the same time that push is coming in into Bravo, push is coming in into Golf, it's just really rough. Now here we did actually take out the ferret, so it fired in, it was spotted, M1 Abrams and M3A2 did fire, but I'm really distracted trying to keep this Command Abrams alive. I'm not looking over here. If I was, the M110s would have definitely fired, these riflemen would have been unloaded a little bit earlier, and could have got away with a bit more, well, a bit more success there. So, Yeah, and then like this is the thing too. This is why split pushes are really hard. You're looking over here, you're looking over here, you're trying to micro both sides of the field as the game continues in, and yeah, I mean, if this had been microed a bit better, the LVTPs would have been very nice. US Marines both healthy, both not panicked, would have been very nice to have as well if their transports hadn't blown up literally right on top of them, which does tend to make you kind of go, shit, guys, this is not going to code. Yeah, but even with all that, I mean, frankly, I've had worse games, I've had worse positions. The issue right now is that +1 has gone back to my opponent because my M1 Abrams is not in the zone, and he capitalizes on it. So an excellent move to a +2 right there. I have SMAW and LVTP 7A1s here, just infantry clearing stuff, and the SMAWs can handle the C2 Mexus. That was at least the hope. And, well, yeah, this is a little bit rough. So, double C2 Mexus up here, but they are very damaged. So 5 strength on one, 1 strength on the other, and I don't know, I mean, I thought... man, I don't know what I thought. I thought this needs to go a lot better. I'm in some serious trouble. By the way, Thunderbolt versus Lynx 3 would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling SAS, but as it is, the Lynx 3 kill is going to go to some wayward riflemen, as my A10 Thunderbolt does get a little bit whammied. So, a nice thing about the smalls, by the way, if you come up to right about here, I think, you can shoot in right at that ridgeline. It's a little rough, you have to be really particular with it, but yeah, that's sort of what I was going for. And then with US Marines 90, LVTP 7A1s here, again, we're going in, trying to clear out the small side of Bravo. Gurkhas are not going to like that engagement, but I don't know, they got 15 points worth of kills before they die, and at least that's not nothing, right? Like, that's the sort of thing that wins Modowitz games, where they deny me any kill for free. So, Double Stinger C is going to be doing some pretty good work. M2A1 finally going to be able to do something, but I've lost everything over on the left, have not yet killed the CV in Foxtrot. And, yeah, I mean, C2 Mexuses are down here. It's just, there's a lot of firepower, a lot of not ideal going on in this game. Now, I have pulled back the Patriot. It did get one very nice kill and may see further use later on, but that was a red blip on the other side of my Command Abrams, too. I mean, holy pressure, Batman. Ooh, I love this. Nighthawks, in case you don't know, you click on one then the other, and if you get the timing just right, then you might just well get something like this. Life could be a dream. Oh man, I thought these grizzlies going through my lines was going to be a thing of the first 5 minutes, not the last 10. So, you'll never believe it, but I actually am chasing this thing down with the Command Abrams. Why the heck not, right? Like, I have a gun on here. I guess it's the only gun nearby, right? So, fire, miss. 89% shots, 87, 86, dropping with distance to target, but bam, we get it, that Grizzly is dead, and my Command Abrams can move back up to cap. Meanwhile, on this side, small are still around, LVTPs, well, not quite as around as they were before, and we finally hit the CV there from Stribble, who hit it over on this side, which I hadn't guessed for like 20 minutes straight. This is not exactly ideal for me. And we finally do ping it, but not kill it. So it's moving right now, and the last bit of my M110 volley is not going to get the kill there, so we're going to have to go back to the guessing game, and these guys really did not get return on investment for me, which they often do, but I just didn't have nearly enough recon forward to spot those good targets, to figure out, okay, this is what I should be shooting at, this is what I shouldn't be shooting at, and making sure that the 90 points each, 270 points sitting right here, 2 2/3 minutes of income sitting right here in my spawn firing the whole game without really much to show for it is not really something that's tenable. Now on this side, small, decent anti-infantry. They carry a fair number of rounds as well, so 10 per, so 30 total. And, oh geez, don't know what that was. And 2 HE versus infantry might not be the best, but in the open field, I mean, look at that, 4, 2, and, well, okay, we missed, but even with the miss, we get a stun. That's going to be dead right there. Big overkill off the D-Eagle. I was hoping to kill a CV. That might be placed right there. Turns out it wasn't. The Smog going to be moving forward again. Thunderbolt, just, I had already bought this, and I figured let's just sort of go with it, see what we can do, see if we can kill anything up on the high ground. I was sensing weakness in Bravo, and maybe not the best. This is another one of those moments of, well, I attacked move, and one of my units got caught without the others, so that's really pretty rough. And I didn't think that I would be able to win this, so in comes Nighthawk round 2, of course, looking for a single Gurkha squad, and you know what? Casualties acceptable, even though it's, oh man, 2 small are 40 points, 1 Gurkha's 90, 30 points. Very much not worthwhile, but we do get the kill there, and we wouldn't have otherwise. Those units were dead anyway. So a little bit of sunk cost, but yeah, such is life. So with 7 minutes left, I need a +2 in order to tie at this point, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I mean, I'm giving my opponent even more points because this was another moment of opportunity. Command Abrams looking for that ADATS, and 2 front, 2 side is decently resilient. The 2 side especially, saving this thing from death from the first shot. Let's see if it gets it from the second. Nearly out of range. If this thing had kept going, I might not have had line of fire. As it is, 110 point kill right there. And you know what? I've got no complaints with that. Thunderbolt is going to have some complaints though, but we get a bit of revenge, 1 hit, second Patriot shot on the way, and bam. Upvetted Patriot. It failed me the next game, but this one, it's been on point. That's 3 hits in a row. Of course, the next one, it misses 6 shots in a row, but who's counting, right? So, goodness gracious, ECM does weird stuff. So, this is another really big mistake. I figured everything in Bravo must be dead, and I missed the 2 things driving in earlier. So I have a Humvee CP, and I figured if I have any chance of getting back in here, it needs to be right now. I have Rangers moving up. I wanted to decap Fox, recap Bravo, have all this stuff going at once if I could manage it. And this Humvee CP, I mean, it's just... yeah, it should have stayed stuck in the mud. I think it would have been better for its life expectancy than running into some Commandos 90. On the other hand, Oslav C right here is going to be running away. I have an M2A1 Bradley, finally able to get some impact in triangle, and I had attempted to gun run here, but for whatever reason, the D-Eagle decided not to aim, and I think we are going to get tagged. Oh geez, evac the wrong way. That always hurts to watch. Yeah, that really hurts to watch. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a little rough. I should have called in the Marines first, and then probably another Command Abrams, which I should still have one more here in this game. Nighthawk looking for that Oslav C kill if we can get it, and missiles away. Should be a nice 1-2 punch right here. It was a right click, so they should track. Oh, never mind. That's gonna be some town. Don't know why I didn't try and split that for the kill. Would have been quite nice if I had. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, especially in games where it's stressful in the last couple of minutes, you make some bad decisions, but such is life. Another thing too, I know people always say, oh well, with USA, with USSR, the plane tab is so important. Every time I bought planes, except for that first A10 run, it felt like the wrong decision. Which could have just been how I used them, true. But, I don't know, I think that's going to take a little bit of practice, so I'm probably not going to see this in ranked anytime soon. It's definitely one of my weaker decks, I'd say, compared to things like Landjut or Scandimech, where I'm very comfortable with it. Scandimech, I barely even have to think before I call out reinforcements, because I know exactly what I want, generally. With the exception of the Panzers kit that I'm definitely getting rid of, because they really didn't impress last game. I'm just going to go with some cheaper shocks instead, and we'll get my AT sources from other places, but yeah. So, F-111C drop, Command Abrams is still alive, 3 Canadians Rifles, 85 here. They do have enough armor piercing between the 3 of them to get rid of this Command Abrams, and, well, I'm trying to fix that. So at this point, Cobra, Longbow, bringing out the Unicorn units, bringing out the Recon choppers, everything like that, and I needed to, just in time, to get rid of these Commandos 90. Yeah, that was really rough. By the way, guess who got the kill? Command Abrams with the steel. Oh, goodness gracious. This was a goofy game. Haymaker / Dribble, if you're watching this, I've really appreciated doing some deck testing with you recently. It's been a lot of fun. I think it's given me a lot of help for figuring out what's going wrong with decks I don't normally play. So, very much appreciated. So, AH-1J Cobra, there's still another Vickers here, just one. Sometimes we'll stay showing 2 until you get good enough recon to say, okay, this is actually just one. And with the AH-1J Cobra right here, yeah, it'll probably die. But look at this, down to 1 strength on 2 of the Canadian Rifles. I have a Longbow coming up here looking for that Vickers. 1, 2, there it is. We watch the CB Infantry march their way right into Gulf, so we're not going to give them that for free by any stretch. The M110s are already aiming and already shooting here, looking for that kill as a D-Eagle comes in to clear the way for some US Marines. And one kill on the Canadian Rifles, second kill coming in right here because they don't have good enough AP to kill in 1 shot, so there it is. 1-2 Canadian Rifles killed from the Command Abrams. And, man, this, I feel like I haven't been this enthusiastic about it in a while. Like, I don't want to be the YouTuber guy who does nothing but post wins, because, honestly, some of the most fun games to me are the losses. This was an edge of my seat. Can I figure this out? What's going wrong? What's going right? How do we fix it? Can we fix it? Can we build it? Yes, we can sort of game. And I mean, looking at the replay afterward, especially from my opponent's perspective, I was sitting there going, this, honestly, a couple other decisions, this could have gone really, really well. And those, they're so much more valuable than the ones where everything sort of goes right. You never really have to think about all that much for it, because what's there to say when your opener wins and then you keep winning after that? So unfortunately, we do lose the Command Abrams there. AH-1J Cobra looking to get a little bit of revenge. That is an unprotected 1 strength. 1 strength command vehicle. How much tick was from that 1 strength command vehicle? Well, the M110s damaged it fully about 14-15 minutes ago. So I don't know, it's things like that. It's like, oh man, so close and yet so far. So we have US Marines. I'm going to flip briefly over to my opponent's perspective just to show, I mean, there's nothing left. Look at this, there's an Oslov C, there's a single unit of SAS that are out of stingers, there's an Oslov C here, 2 SAS with 1 stinger left here. Nothing in the front line for either of us. This has been just truly one of the most hard-fought games I've had in so long. Just everything dead in all places at once. There's that CV, by the way, that I didn't kill with the Nighthawk. It was getting a +2 for my opponent for quite some time. And now, yeah, I mean, the Conquest victory is not really in question anymore. It's not going to be a thing. But, you know, I'm not giving up. We're scrapping it till the end. F-15D Eagle coming in, looking for that kill on the CV in Hotel, and probably, well, not going to get it because my DAP already did, but I couldn't see that at the time, so yeah. I don't know, I'm not the best with USA bombers. We'll certainly learn that skill as time goes on. Nighthawk looking for a last kill here, and I really just wish if I had not done the push around the side, it would have been interesting, because on the one hand, that cleared out everything in triangle enough that I could then later take it, but on the other, it did cost me Bravo. And if I had held in Bravo for another one of those pushes, it would have been very nice, because even with all that, even with losing that CV there, it's still 40-90 to 36-10. And when you think about this, this is insane. This is saying that fully all of the points that you get during the game were killed. So I mean, you get 5,000 total, including the opener, but this negated all of that income. At the end of the game, my opponent had less than a single opener on the board in terms of point value, and I had very nearly the same, 3,610 losses, 20 of those, I guess, kind of friendly fire on something, looking at you, Nighthawk, but, well, just a brutally fun game as well. Like, these sorts of games are why I got into doing this sort of thing, why I got into Wargame to begin with, and it just makes me so happy to share this stuff with you guys. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Oh, wait, no, hold on, hang on. We have one last thing to show you, other than the Navy SEALs doing pretty well against Commandos. One last thing to show you. Look at this Command Abrams, man. Have you ever seen something so beautiful? 160 point Command M1 Abrams with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 Canadian Rifle 85 kills, 3 Grizzlies, Commandos 90, Vickers Mark 11, ADATs. It killed 110 point ADATs, and a helicopter. Like I've got 4 different tabs covered here. We've got infantry, we've got vehicle from the Vickers, we've got helicopter from the Lynx H7, and we've got support from the ADAS. 4 different tabs had stuff die to this Command Abrams. It's so goofy. Alright, that's going to be all I've got for you guys today. Hope you did enjoy it, and we'll catch you around real soon.